guarantee these three fighters are going to win at UFC 321. In today's video, I'm going to give you my three most confident picks, the guys that I am putting my heart and soul into. I'm riding with these guys no matter what happens. I'm going to give you my three favorite picks, and I'm going to tell you what my least confident fight on the entire card is. Believe it or not, the worst fight the UFC has ever sanctioned before is going on at UFC 321. I'll talk about that later. Before this video starts, comment down below your favorite pick on the entire card, and then let me know if you agree with mine. For my first most confident pick on the entire card, we are going to the Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki fight. Now, this fight should be a banger. These are two dudes who are going to scrap it out. It's going to be a war start to finish. But how and why is Rebecki back in the octagon already? On August 2nd, Rebecki fought Chris Duncan and had his face mangled. It's now 2 months later and he's back in the octagon with another dominant, aggressive, violent fighter in Ludovic Klein. This is a bad matchup for him. I'm taking Ludovic Klein here. I don't think Rebecki's going to be able to win fights with how easily he gets damaged and wears damage. We've seen this in some guys' careers. There are some guys that just, when they get hit, they show damage really easily. Rebecki is becoming one of those guys very quickly. Ludovic Klein, he's a violent, dangerous striker. I think he's going to be able to find a finish at some point during this fight. I think Rebecki's gone through too much damage, too many wars, and it's catching up to him even quicker than it should. Give me Klein. Before I give you my third and final lock of the week and my favorite lock on the entire card, let's talk about my least confident fight on the entire card. I mentioned at the start of this video, the UFC is putting on the worst sanctioned fight it has ever had, ever. I don't care what era. Hamdi Abdullah taking on Chris Barnett. I'm sorry if I messed that name up. That's just how it feels like it should be said. This is one of the worst fights the UFC has ever put on. Hamdi is coming off a split decision loss to Muhammad Usman. A loss to Muhammad Usman. Are you hearing me? He's coming off a loss to Muhammad Usman, and he's a minus 400 favorite. How is that even possible? You may be wondering. Well, on the other side of the octagon, we have a fighter who weighs 5'8" and in the heavyweight division. Chris Barnett is the same height as Brandon Royval, who is a 125er. In Chris Barnett's last fight, he was in the octagon while Bruce Buffer or whoever was reading off the names. He jumped, landed, and blew his entire knee out. That's the level of fighter we're talking about here. The level of athletes we are talking about. Hamdi Abdullah taking on Chris Barnett. Do not go anywhere near this fight. Nowhere near it. Yes, I'm going to gamble on it because I'm a sicko, but that, you stay away. I will give you, I think Hamdi's going to win the fight. That's disgusting. He's minus 300. That's absolutely insane. And you probably should just bet Chris Barnett simply because of the odds. They don't make sense. The point is, stay away from the fight. Don't go anywhere near it. Don't. Also, I want to make this known. I refuse to acknowledge this as a UFC fight. This doesn't count. It's not a UFC fight. It's a circus show. Two clowns are going out there to fight each other. This does not count as a UFC win or loss for either fighter. I don't know how they're getting paid to fight each other. This is a street beast fight. Hamdi Abdullah versus Chris Barnett is a street beast fight. Moving on to the second lock of the week. This guy's not losing, man. Ikram Aliskerov versus Jung Young Park. This is bad matchmaking once again. Also, for those of you that watched last week, we're not going to talk about Danny Barlow. None of that. That's behind us. Move on. We're getting our lick back at UFC 321. Ikram Aliskerov versus Jung Young Park. This is bad matchmaking. Ikram Aliskerov is ready for guys better than Jung Young Park. Listen, I know he lost to Robert Whittaker. Why are we acting like Robert Whittaker is a bad loss to have? Yes, he got finished. He got caught. He took that fight on short notice. Ikram Aliskerov is a Russian wrestler who doesn't even have to wrestle because his hands have looked so good. And I actually kind of like Jung Young Park as a fighter, as a prospect. But I don't think he's ready for Ikram Aliskerov. I wouldn't quite say this is a layup for Ikram Aliskerov, but he should be able to dominate this fight no matter where it goes. On the ground, he's better. On the feet, he's more powerful. The only way he loses this fight is if Jung Young Park makes it a war and Ikram Aliskerov gets caught like he did against Robert Whittaker, but Park doesn't have that kind of power. I'm not going to let people tell me a loss to Robert Whittaker is a bad thing for Ikram Aliskerov. It was a good learning experience, short notice. He's bounced back really well. I think he's going to dominate this fight, start to finish. and I think he's going to find a KO at some point. Ikram Aliskerov, lock number 2. Book it. Now, last but not least, my favorite pick on the entire night. There's no way this guy loses. And matter of fact, if this guy loses, this might be the last episode of this series. We're only 2 episodes in. This might be the last one. We're going to Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. I know, it's chalky. Everybody's been saying all week Aspinall can't lose. Listen to me for a minute. Just listen. I'm not just going to sit here and tell you Aspinall is going to beat Gane. If Ciryl Gane was to beat Tom Aspinall in this fight, I would go as far as to say it may be one of the bigger upsets we've ever seen in the UFC. And I'm not talking about betting odds because honestly, the odds aren't that crazy. I just mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Please comment down below and tell me if I'm wrong here. There is not one person on planet Earth who really fully believes that Ciryl Gane can and will beat Tom Aspinall. There's not. Anybody saying that out there is looking for views, for clicks. When Tom Aspinall wins, they're going to go into the shadows. They're going to say, hey, I thought this. Tom Aspinall looked good. They carry on. They don't have to answer. They can just say, I think Ciryl Gane's going to win. If Gane wins, they look like a genius. If Gane loses, they can just carry on and take a couple comments and not have to answer for it. Nobody out there thinks Gane is going to win, really, truly. And I'm counting Ciryl Gane. I say the entire planet Earth. That is including Ciryl Gane. He doesn't think he's going to win. No chance. The bigger question here, and what I do need to give an answer to, is how is Tom Aspinall going to win? Because the odds are insane, obviously. Is it a KO or is it a sub? Now listen, I've seen a lot of people out there taking sub, and I want to do it, man. I want to say Tom Aspinall is going to go out there and submit Ciryl Gane. He's going to do what John Jones did, make it look easy, a minute, 30 seconds, it's over with. It's just hard to... I think he's going to batter Ciryl Gane. I think he's going to get him on the ground. That's what I think he's going to do to Ciryl Gane. But if you look at the odds, if you're a gambling man like myself, the value on Tom Aspinall sub is probably worth some money. He's like minus 150 for a knockout, and it's plus 3 something for a sub. I think he's going to get the fight to the ground. It's just whether or not he kind of wants to be patient and work for a sub. Or I think he can just post and bash Ciryl Gane's head into the ground. When I'm watching this fight in my head, I'm playing it over and over and over. Every time, I'm just seeing punish, pound, pound. I think Tom Aspinall is going to win by knockout, but I like the value on sub. That's my favorite pick of the entire week. Comment down below your favorite pick. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, man, like, comment, subscribe. Show some love for the channel. We're growing this thing. We're going to go 3-0, sweep the board, and continue to build. Let's go.